It is Friday, September 26th, 2025, which means we have more Take 10. We have another betting preview this weekend. Um, Excited for it. We've got a lot of good picks. I'm really kind of looking forward to going through that. I think we got one that can put us close to 500 this week. Um, Beyond that, we got a lot more to talk about too. We've got John Mateer's news. We're going to kind of go over that and what that means for Oklahoma going forward. And we got a Bama Georgia preview because everybody's excited for that game this weekend. And rightfully so. It's going to be a fun one, an absolute blast. Before we get into everything, though, I do ask that you just leave a like, subscribe. We're 10 away from 200. We're on that road to 200. We're getting close. So I just ask that you guys subscribe, help us get there. It means a lot to me, and it's really just appreciated. Again, it brings you back here, helps you see these videos, and we're here constantly, year-round content coming up, and we've got a lot of fun going on. So excited for that. I thank y'all, and hope y'all have a good rest of your day. But first, let's get through today's video. Um, and let's just kick this thing off with Oklahoma's news, and that's John Mateer had hand surgery earlier this week. It seemingly was a successful procedure. What does this mean for Oklahoma? How long is he going to be out? Well, it could be anywhere from a couple weeks to a month, and certainly their hope is that he can come back for Texas. So that's their hope, but it might not work out that way. So what does it truly mean for them? Well, they got Michael Hawkins, who we saw at this position last year, started last year. No stranger to being on the field. I think that Michael Hawkins can succeed in this offense and actually do pretty well, and we'll see where it goes from there. Um, what he lacks is experience in this system, but I think that Mateer has been pretty solid about helping out and helping teach everybody, and not just kind of coming in and doing his thing and moving on. So what I expect to see is a pretty successful stretch here for Michael Hawkins. Get him a chance to lead this team. Do I think it means anything crazy? We'll see, because obviously they got to play Texas next week, which is a bit of a bigger deal, I would say, than anything. Or sorry, maybe is it in 2 weeks? I got to make sure I get this right because I don't want to. I know it's their second game out from now, but it's week 7, so it is 2 weeks from today, or 2 weeks from tomorrow, as we sit. So there's time. There's time for him to get healthy and be ready to go. But for right now, it'll be the Michael Hawkins show. We'll see what happens. We'll see how that moves forward. Again, I don't expect anything too big of a drop off. Maybe outright performance, but Hawkins is mobile. Hawkins can throw the ball. This is a better offense, a better scheme than they had last year. I really think this is going to be a successful move. So, want John Mateer to come back. Really was happy with where he was at. He was a Heisman favorite. Um, Unfortunately, the reins get turned over to Fernando Mendoza until we see Mateer come back and what he can do. Um, Moving on from that, not a whole lot of other news outside of the game we're going to talk about later. So let's go ahead and bring up our take 10 for this week. We go into this week at 19-23 on the season so far. We've been okay. Outside of week 1, we've been okay. We had a down week last week. We got to bounce back. We'll see what happens from it. Looking at it though, the way it stands, we need a 7-3 week and we're 500. We need a 7-3 week and we're 500. And we've had 7-3 weeks, so let's see if we can make that happen. Kick this thing off. Georgia Tech, 13.5-point favorites against Wake Forest. I think they're going to cover that. Truthfully, with ease. I think their offense is too good. Their defense is really good. Georgia Tech covers. West Virginia gets 12.5 against Utah at home. I think that what we saw from Utah's offense last week is something that West Virginia is going to try to exploit some more. A different look at quarterback with Nico Marchiol out this weekend, or projected out this weekend. So we'll see what that brings, but I'm still taking West Virginia to cover that 12.5. Moving on and staying in the Big 12, Baylor minus 20.5 against Oklahoma State. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of, we're going to play hard after Gundy's gone. It might be more of a we're going to give up after Gundy's gone. I think Baylor covers 20.5 in that one. New Mexico gets 14.5 against New Mexico State, and I think they're going to cover that. They've been really good so far this year. They've got a big time win over UCLA, stuck around Michigan. I think they'll win this one comfortably. Tennessee 7.5 against Mississippi State. I think we're overreacting to the 3-0 start to win over Arizona State. I think Tennessee's gonna win this game, control, score a lot of points. They'll cover. Toledo gets 20.5 against Akron. Last week, Toledo lost to Western Michigan by 1 point, 14-13. When they come off of a loss like that, they, especially this specific roster that we've seen and this leadership group that we've seen with Tucker Gleason, they tend to come out and just go, for lack of a better term, belt to ass on whoever's next. Unfortunately, Akron's in the between the sites. I think it's going to be a blowout. Toledo covers that 20.5. We're back on the Memphis train for the first time since week 3. Was the last time. We've had Memphis on all but 1 week, and it was last week. We didn't pick them to cover. Should have. They won. So Memphis is 4-0 against the spread. We're taking them to go 5-0, 13.5 against Florida Atlantic. Vanderbilt minus 22.5 against Utah State. They took care of business against Georgia State. Who's to say they won't do it here against Utah State? USC and Illinois is looking at 60.5. That's the over-under. I think the under hits. I think USC's defense is much improved. Danton Lynn's done a great job over there. I think that Illinois is going to really have their head on straight after last week's complete blowout loss in Indiana. I didn't want to pick a winner in this game. I didn't want to pick anything other than between these two teams, do I think they can score 60? They can, but I'm more likely to say that this game goes under 60.5. Virginia Tech and NC State, two offenses that haven't really proven a whole lot to me. NC State scored, 34 against Wake, 38 against Virginia. They put points on the board. I just don't think over 58.5 is the number. Somebody's not going to score. Both of these teams may not score. So I like the under in that one. So that's what we got this week. I like the 10. I'm sure it's not going to go 10 for 10, but I like the 10 that we've put together here so far in this one. Let me know what you guys think, what you are looking at this weekend and lines that you like. Let's go ahead and I did it again. I don't know why I keep doing this. I always get here and then I skip over the bottom part, the keys of the game. I don't know how I keep doing it, but you know what? Mistakes are meant to be seen, not hidden. I make mistakes and it happens. So you'll see a quick cut and then we'll be back with the correct keys to the game. Okay, we got it fixed. But you look at these two teams, and Alabama's 2-1. Their loss to Florida State was fairly embarrassing for them. I think they really are not thrilled about the way that game went down. As for Georgia, they're 3-0, a win in conference play already, a shootout win against Tennessee in overtime. But beyond that, these two teams have really not been overly tested. People are going to say, "Oh, well, Alabama played Wisconsin." Nobody in their right mind thought Wisconsin was hanging around in that game. This is the first real test, the second real test for both these teams. Alabama, going into this game, has their own various things that they're concerned with, right? Obviously, part of it is what happened against Florida State could very well happen here as well. You've got playmakers on the edge, Zachariah Branch specifically in this game, that could do a similar thing to what Danzy did for Florida State on these end arounds or jet sweep, however you want to call it. And then you could also look at the fact that the run game for Georgia has been much improved this year, and it starts with just a better offensive line or better offensive line play, but it leads into you have Nate Frazier, you have 4 or 5 running backs on this roster that can really do some damage. For Alabama, the biggest thing, you see it at the bottom, and I made this the biggest for a reason, is set the edge defensively. For one, you get back Tim Keenan this week, which is a big deal on the front. But if you can control the edge and really keep this thing north and south, I think that's where Alabama can win this game, or at least control the Georgia run game. And then it comes down to making Gunnar Stockton beat you. And that can happen, because Gunnar Stockton did a great job against Tennessee. But you're more likely to win if you can slow down this Georgia run game. That's just plain and simple. So that's the one thing I'm looking at early in this. Some other things I've looked at for this one. improvement in the run game from Alabama. They've only ran for 123 yards a game. Part of that is because they've been missing Jam Miller. I think that this is a very underrated return this weekend. Is that Jam Miller's coming back? They're excited for Tim Keenan. They're excited for Jam Miller, as they should be. But I think it's not talked about enough on the national landscape. This is going to really help Alabama again in the run game. I think that just the overall experience is going to truly help them out a lot, just having him back on the field. But improving that run game is, I think, a must in this one. They're going to have to run the ball. It can't just be Ty Simpson. The other one is create pressure. In their game against Florida State, they didn't get any. They did not have a single sack. Now, there were only, understand that Thomas Castellanos was 9 of 14 in that game, but they did not create a lot of pressure, did not get to him, 0 sacks. They've only got 4 on the year. Georgia's only got 4 on the year, too. We'll talk a little more about that. But I think their biggest thing is just trying to create pressure, be in the backfield, and make things a little more uncomfortable for Gunnar Stockton. Now you look at this on the other side. For Georgia, maintain the emphasis on the run game. Continue running the football. They've done a great job of that so far, and truly have been much improved in that phase of the game. Nate Frazier is a really good playmaker. I'm expecting him to be utilized in the pass game a little more this weekend. I think you could see him maybe get out on some swing patterns, maybe some screens, a couple different things that really boost him into this game plan just a little bit more, because I think he's a dynamic playmaker himself, along with guys like Zachariah Branch, who I think they're going to utilize a lot in space and try to make Alabama uncomfortable, try to create that early pressure on the Bama defense. The second thing I have, which really are two in the same, contain Ty Simpson. We've seen Simpson so far this year. His best work has been done when he's been able to kind of improvise, or when he's had to improvise. He's made a lot of really good plays when there seemed to be nothing available. What I think Georgia needs to do is really just find a way, whether you spy him, however that works, just running more of a contained style of pressure. Try to keep him within the pocket. I think that's where he's going to struggle the most. So far this year, it seems to be where he struggled the most, seemed the most uncomfortable. If you can do that, I think you get a good shot early. The other thing is just create negative plays. This is a Georgia defense that in 3 games has 18 tackles for loss, which is about 6 a game. I don't think that's a terrible number. But they've only created 4 sacks so far. And this is a defensive line that typically is in the backfield a lot more than that, especially against lesser opponents. Expecting them to really create an emphasis on trying to be in the backfield, trying to make plays, and slow down this Alabama offense. Again, part of that comes from just keeping Ty Simpson contained. Other parts of that comes from just hurrying him, making plays, slowing down the run game. I think all that's gonna ultimately work out in the favor of both these teams. I think both of them have a really solid game plan. I'm excited to see this game personally. You look at the lines, Georgia's a 2.5 point favorite as of the time of me creating this graphic, which is about an hour ago. Over-under was at 54.5. My pick for this game is Georgia, 34-27. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game. I think they're going to have some issues maintaining Ty Simpson. I think they're going to have Alabama's going to have some issues slowing down this run game. It's just going to be who makes the bigger play. I don't think anybody's going to get out to a big lead like last year. I think Georgia has in their mind that they want to step up early and make big plays. They want the revenge factor in this game. And we'll see what they're able to do with that. I think there's a long way to go. But 34-27, Georgia. And again, storylines here, biggest storylines going into this game. Jam Miller and Tim Keenan are back for Alabama this week. That's 2 big additions to both sides of the ball. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you're picking to win this game. As always, love the comments down below. Again, if you're new around here, leave a like, subscribe. Again, that way you can come back. See more. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. I don't care. We'll have fun either way. Just appreciate you guys for tuning in, making the last few months so awesome. Say that every day, but it's truly fun to watch the way this channel's grown and the way we put things together. So I just thank y'all so much. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. If you're going out to a game tonight, we've got a few games tonight. Florida State, Virginia playing in Charlottesville tonight. TCU at Arizona State is going to be a lot of fun. That's a 9 p.m. kick on Fox. And then Houston goes out to Corvallis to face Oregon State. Almost took Houston minus 13.5. I still like that number. Might take it anyways. But we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a fun Friday night. We'll be back here live tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, as we always are, for the weekend, the game Saturday preview show that we do. We'll recap everything from Thursday and Friday. ECU with a huge blowout win over Army. A 28-6 win. They were up big early and just kind of coasted to the end. A few turnovers kind of killed them in that game from really making that worse. It should have been a lot worse of a game. Beyond that, though, we have a big Saturday ahead. A lot of big games, a lot of underrated games. We'll talk about every single one of them as we always do. So thank you all so much. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. God bless y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.